Please start when you're ready, Mr. Marx. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Juan Marcus. I'm the representative director of a company called Rubi Labs. So imagine if you could pay your kid's school tuition fee who is currently studying abroad. Or imagine that you can directly send an amount of a fund that your kid may be in need who is currently studying abroad. Imagine if you could be given options to choose from when you try to send money abroad. Imagine that if you can pay suppliers and distributors in their own local currencies without so much switching fees. Imagine that if you can make impact by donating directly to the organizations that are really doing good. And imagine that you can send emergency funds to the people who are in need, who are living abroad, away from you, away, like your relatives, your families, whatever there is, like they're living away from you, and imagine that you can send funds immediately to them. Wouldn't it be awesome if you can do that? So why is it not doable today? Because there is no direct cross-border bank-to-bank channel. And there's no much option. You most likely have to switch, like you have to pay the switching fee, and the currency has to be converted to US dollars. Let's just forget all about that complex stuff. Imagine that if you can just do direct to direct, how amazing will that be? And because today the bank still needs to check whether the recipient truly exists or not, and this is all done manually. Imagine how tedious of a process is that. And it depends on the destination, and some countries only accept SWIFT, and some only accept IBAN. Imagine how tedious of a process is that. That sucks, right? Then why can't other providers provide better? Because they're relying on the same communication method at its core. Even if they can provide like an alternative, have you ever checked their rates? Have you ever checked how much they're trying to charge you? They charge you percentage for the amount of fees that you are sending. It's ridiculous, right? If you're happy with their current situation, then it's good for you. If you're not, then pay close attention and how we can solve this and how we can provide the solution for you. So this is what we're trying to do. We have two versions. One is version A and one is version B. So what we are essentially is, we're just basically a communication system distributor between banks. So Bank A, let's say there are two banks, Bank A located in Japan and Bank B located somewhere overseas. And these two banks can communicate, can send data to each other through nodes. So this intercommunication method allows each banks to know like who is sending the money, who will be receiving the money, from where this money is coming from, to where should we send this money, to where should we deposit this money. Those kind of communication information will be distributed directly across banks. And version B is where we provide our, the other version is where we provide our application. So we can just call the bank API over to our application. And like the users can just select the bank's, the recipient destination, the bank's destination, and just directly send the money. We are essentially a middleware company in this sense because we're providing API, or we are integrating the API of banks. So what are the differences between the two versions? So essentially like the differences between these two versions is that one is that we are calling the API of the bank, and the other one is that the banks are calling our API. So this direction is different, and the method is different. If the bank is more comfortable, if they have security concerns and stuffs because of the law and regulations, then we can call their API and connect to our front end. In that sense, they don't have to worry so much about the security concerns. On the other hand, if they want a more direct distribution of the information that I just mentioned earlier, then there is no way other than to integrate the API and make this communication between banks immediate without any intermediaries. So why our services? Because we are not interfering with the core banking system. We are just an API. We're just a middleware, and we do not interfere with the security, as I mentioned earlier. We have a separate security layer for our API, and we are also based on the cloud, so we are auto-scaling, and we are designed especially for communication. We do not touch the physical movement of the money. We only touch the distribution, the method of reconciliation. So what other solutions do we provide? We provide so many different stuffs. We provide face recognition AI, which is currently used by bank for their eKYC system. We also provide a database, of course, because we are providing a communication method, so you need a database to store this data. And our database is not based on cloud. Our database is stored on on-premise servers of the bank. And we also provide automations for desk work. So we are relatively very young. We're just a one-year-old company, but we conducted different POCs with banks across the globe. We also are working together with banks to facilitate their remittance services. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Marcus. For the next one, please welcome Mr. Thapa.